Sandy Krebs, but you can call me Chef Viva Vegana. In these videos, I'll be sharing with you how anyone can make delicious vegan food. So, let's cook. Chef Viva Vegana here. Today I want to share my recipe for raw sunflower seed basil pesto with you. So, let's cook. Before we jump into the recipe, I want to share my trick for keeping basil nice and fresh for a week or even more. You're going to treat basil very much the way you would fresh cut flowers. You're going to keep it in a container with a little bit of water in the bottom. And you also want to cut off the very bottom brown part of the stem. You might eliminate that if you've just cut this out of your garden. And then you're just going to put a bag over it to create kind of a hothouse effect. And keep it somewhere. It doesn't have to be in the dark like in a closet, but you want to keep it away from bright sunlight. And this will keep your basil looking good without getting black spots on it like it does if you keep it in the refrigerator for at least a week and up to 2. I really love this recipe. It's so versatile. You can use it tossed in pasta or rice dishes. You can use it as a smear on sandwiches. You can make pizza with it. You can add vinegar and a little more oil to it to make salad dressings. I'll be posting recipes on my YouTube channel utilizing this recipe. So stay tuned for ways to use this sunflower seed basil pesto. And if, like me, you're growing basil in your garden, you probably have more of it than you know what to do with or more than you can give away right now. So this is a great way to use up a lot of basil. And this also freezes very well. So let's jump into the recipe. For this recipe, we're going to use 2 tightly packed cups, or about a pound, of fresh basil. When you're picking the leaves off the stem, it's okay if you keep these little teeny stems on, but you don't want to keep these larger parts of the stem on. So, I've got my 2 cups of tightly packed basil here. I picked the leaves off the stems early this morning and have kept it in the fridge for a couple of hours. You can see there's already a few little dark spots on here. That's okay. It won't be noticeable after we blend all this together. We're next going to put in a half a cup of raw sunflower seeds that have been soaked. Then we're going to add a third of a cup of extra virgin olive oil. The equivalent of 4 large cloves of garlic. Now, if you like less garlicky food, you can reduce that to 3 or even 2. 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. 1 teaspoon of salt. And a half a teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper. And we're just going to process this for about 2 minutes. 2 minutes of running your food processor seems like a long time, but you don't want to skimp on the processing time. You'll appreciate the texture if you give it a full 2 minutes. I'm gonna scrape down the sides of the bowl. And that's it. Now that we're done processing it and have put it in a clean jar, you want to really pat it down and get all these air bubbles out of it that will turn into brown spots. Now, the brown spots, they're certainly edible, they're just not very pretty. So make sure that you've gotten as much of the air out of it as is possible. And then I just pour a little bit of olive oil right over the top, and that's going to prevent the top from turning brown. If you're going to store this in the refrigerator and use it up in 5 to 7 days, a glass jar is good. If you're going to store it in the freezer, I would recommend using a plastic container because you don't want to take the chance that it will expand and the glass jar will break in the freezer. And you'll also want to be sure and leave a little bit of space on the top for the expansion, even if you are using a plastic container. So that's my raw sunflower seed basil pesto recipe. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll check back on my YouTube channel often to see the different ways we're utilizing this pesto in other recipes. So until next time, let's cook.